Another released star is back in WWE. Plus, a major WWE name wants to be part of NXT Europe, and AEW have added a AAA title match to Sunday's All Out. It's all in the wrestling news right now. We are mere hours away from this place behind us being packed with over 50,000, might even be 70,000 and some
God
change.
knows. We'll find out. They'll announce it.
Of wrestling fans welcoming Cardiff's hero, Scotland's Drew McIntyre, to clash at the Castle. What a day this is going to be. We're hoping the weather holds out.
Yeah,
this leans into my BBC nonsense, this doing some weather reporting.
It's humid, but I believe the roof's going to be closed anyway from what we've been hearing on the street here, so it shouldn't matter too much if it does rain. Just prep if you are coming down, because it's hot and cold every 5 minutes. It just switches, as my glasses steam up right now.
It's like Katy Perry, hot and cold. We're going to get into the wrestling news as we get set for Clash of the Castle today. We'll start with some news about a WWE released star who has made a quiet little comeback.
I'm quite happy with this one as well. I'm quite happy. This one comes from Fightful Select. The report says, former NXT Tag Team Champion Wesley Blake was at the Performance Center recently guest coaching. We'd long been told that the now Weston Blake was highly regarded in the WWE PC, and he and his teammate Steve Macklin were some of the longest tenured names there. Blake's work outside the company is also very highly regarded with those we've spoken to, and I'm just happy he's sort of back with the company in a role like this, especially sort of. It was quite unfair what happened by the time we got to the Forgotten Sons, and then it sort of the Riker situation, and then they were sort of collateral in that, and it just sort of, it was this mire, wasn't it? And it was almost like kind of being pushed away for not your own reason. So it's nice to hear that he's back and that he's now contributing and leading a new class of talent.
And it's one of those where, like Steve Macklin, his former tag partner in the Forgotten Sons, found his feet so beautifully in Impact Wrestling. I have loved the work of Steve Macklin, currently mixing it up with Sami Callihan and Moose and all that stuff, and being like a very different force in the X division. So I was worried that Wesley Blake might become quite literally the Forgotten Son.
Just sort of get a bit lost in it. But it's luckily now he's back with the company. So
looking to WWE, so the end of NXT UK comes at this really strange time where there is so much joy to be had with the WWE coming to the UK as NXT UK goes on hiatus with NXT Europe on the cards. We were at the Media Junkie yesterday, weren't we? And,
we were.
We found somebody who was keen to get involved in such a system.
Yeah, it was only Drew McIntyre, so here's what he had to say.
Will Drew McIntyre do NXT Europe?
He'll ask to do it like he did NXT UK, but I think I've got more of a chance this time.
Yeah, it's exciting. Iron Drew, who could potentially become the Universal Champion in a few hours' time, NXT Europe. And now, I do believe that NXT Europe would need like some firepower from a big name.
Yeah.
But is that too big a name?
Well, we also had sort of a similar take from Finn Balor. That interview will be out. If it's not out already, it'll be out shortly for you all to tune in on. But I think that it is quite kind of an interesting question because it's Drew. He is a national hero here. He is obviously a big part of our wrestling sort of cultural scene right now, headlining this event. And I think that maybe, it's a fantastic use of him, but is it the right thing? I don't know.
Interesting one. Well,
it's going to get eyes on the product, but how long is he going to be away from the rest of the product?
Whether or not it's on the first night of NXT Europe, he comes in and does a hello.
Yeah.
Potentially. We will see. One thing, when we spoke to a lot of the guys yesterday, spoke to the guys from this particular continent.
Yes.
A lot of hype, a lot of excitement for NXT Europe.
Yeah.
It feels like the start of something quite big and quite exciting. So I wouldn't be surprised if a few main roster guys end up that way. I feel like Gunter might make an appearance.
I want it to happen. I think I want to see as many I want to see that cross-pollination, I guess. Send somebody there for a few months, have them come back to the States.
Now, Clash of the Castle is happening in a few hours' time for the WWE, but it is a busy wrestling weekend as AEW All Out takes place tomorrow as well.
Honestly,
rude, if anything.
And we've got Worlds Collide, and there's Midnight ICW, and then there's Progress.
There's a lot of
so
the
much
wrestling.
happening.
Shout out to TNT Wrestling as well, who are doing a show in Cardiff as well. Big love to you guys and Jay. But AEW putting on their show tomorrow night, and they've added another title match to it.
Yes, so the AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championship is now going to be on the line at Sunday's AEW All Out 0-hour show. It was announced on Rampage that Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello will defend the AAA Mixed Tag titles against Ortiz, Ruby Soho, against Ortiz and Ruby Soho in a rematch from Rampage. But I mean, this is a problem now because it takes the show to, good value, very good value.
Phenomenal value from AEW.
15 matches though.
15
I remember in another life when we would do weekly tapings, like 2 weeks at once or whatever, and you'd be doing like this level of matches, and it's very hard to strike that balance. So there's a way they can do it. I think not all of the matches are going to go long. I think we might have some kind of shock upsets, but 15 matches is pretty intense.
The art is going to be in pacing it, and having some matches that probably don't go like the distance, some that you might want them to. But I genuinely think if Tony Khan and the lads can get the timing just right, then it won't be an issue. I think they'll be fine. So let's run down the card for strap
I'll let you go first, and we'll alternate.
The AEW World Trios Championship is on the line. The finals of the tournament, it's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on the Dark Order and Hangman Page, as confirmed last night on Rampage.
Yeah, we got Sting, Darby Allin and Miro versus Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews and Brody King.
Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs settling their differences.
We've of course got the Casino ladder match for a future AEW World title shot. So Claudio Castagnoli versus Wheeler Yuta versus Penta Oscuro versus Ray Fenix versus Rush versus Andrade El Idolo versus Dante Martin versus TBA, FTR and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal and Motor City Machine Guns after that as well.
We'll take in a trio of trios with that particular one. Bryan Danielson faces Lionheart Chris Jericho. Those two are going to roll back the years and have some fun.
Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage.
They're going to fight each other to a
to
horrible
the
time. A TBS Championship match. Jade Cargill puts it up against the former Ember Moon in Athena.
And then we go to the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Swerve and Our Glory versus The Acclaimed.
Thunder Rosa stepping down as AEW Women's Champion. An interim champion will be crowned between Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, Dr. Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida.
And finally, we've got the AEW World Championship match, which pits Jon Moxley against CM Punk. But that's not including the kickoff show. So the 0-hour pre-show features the All-Atlantic Championship match of Pac versus Kip Sabian, the FTW Championship match of Hook versus Angelo Parker, and Eddie Kingston versus Tomohiro Ishii on the kickoff. I mean, that is value for money. And it's going. I think there's a slight overlap with you're getting that head-to-head with Worlds Collide.
I don't know whether it's going to be that big an issue. I don't think there's a massive overlap.
That's the thing. A lot of people are like, well, that might be why Ishii's on the opening bit, because it kind of attracts some viewers across. But I don't know. Either way, it's going to be a very stacked show.
I had the idea of having Ishii and Kingston going on last on the pre-show, and literally they're punching each other in the face as it fades out, and as the pay-per-view fades up, they're still punching each other in the face. That's the pay-per-view.
Brawling around the place.
Brawling around at the speed of sound. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day. We've had a wild time.
We're getting delirious now. I think we've had about 4 hours sleep.
The big event is later on to Clash at the Castle. If you're coming along, have the most amazing time. Adam Pacitti is back at Base Camp, where he'll be doing live reactions for the entire show. We'll have what happened at the WTF moments all along as well. And hey, if you're near the Principality, come say hello. We'll have a lovely time.
Bye.
Except you. You can't come along.
You can. They're at home.
Can.
Don't say that, Tom.
You can.
They
It's
might
fine.
be coming along. You're a rude person.
You can come along.
I'm going
it's
now.
fine.
I don't
it's
want
fine.
any part of this anymore.
We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Yakida.